Today we're going to make a composition using 5 Van Gogh paintings, organized here into an interesting layout, and then we're going to represent those paintings using 5 elements of design. Now there are actually 7 elements of design, but we're going to be focusing today on line, shape, texture, color, and typography. Now, if you're used to the elements of art, you probably have not used typography as an element before. But when we're talking about design, we do use typography, so we'll be using that in this overall composition. Now, today I'm just going to show you how to set up your document in Illustrator. I've already shown you how to lay out these paintings using Photoshop. So now we're just going to open up that layout that we created into Illustrator. And then you may need to adjust your artboard, which you can use your artboard tool right over here, to adjust the edges of your document. So sometimes you'll place your document in, or you'll open it up and you'll see that the artboard isn't the right size to fit with your document. So you can just use your artboard tool and size that out. After you're done with that, you're going to click back to your selection tool. And then you're going to look in your layers right over here. If you can't see your layers, just go to Window and select Layers. And as we look at our layers over here, you'll see that I've created some other layers on top, but for you, you are just going to see Layer 1. And when you see Layer 1, you are going to double click in that layer. You can retitle it if you want, or you can just leave it Layer 1. We're not going to have a ton of layers with this project. And I want you to click Template to set it to template mode. And you'll notice that when you do that, it automatically dims it to 50%. If you do not want that to happen, just uncheck that and hit OK. So now that we've done that, that will allow us to see our document even when we are in outline mode. And we do want to be in outline mode. So the next thing that we need to do to make sure that we can see what's happening on our document while we're in outline mode is to go to Window and select Navigator. Now I've already done that, so you can see my handy dandy navigator up here, and it'll show me everything that's happening in my document even when I am just viewing the outlines over here. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to view and outline, or Command Y to view my document in outline mode. And it still looks the same because I haven't put anything on top. Then I'm going to go over here to my layers and I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to call this layer Shape. And then I get to decide here. I'm going to look at my images and decide which one of them most fits with the idea of representing the element of shape. And here in these sunflowers, I'm seeing a lot of interesting kind of shapes that I think could work really well for that element. So I'm actually going to choose the sunflower part of this composition. And I'm going to start by creating a background color. So I'm going to go to my rectangle tool here, and I'm just going to draw with my rectangle tool right over the top of that area. Oh, and apparently I was not in outline mode, so now I'm in outline mode. And if you look over here at my navigator, one thing you'll notice is that it looks like I have a white rectangle over my sunflowers. But because I'm in outline mode over here, I don't see that, which is great. So I'm just going to do that. And then while I'm in outline mode, the other thing that's great is now I can just hit I and select a color back here. And notice how over here in my navigator, that just automatically changes. So I really love that Illustrator gives you that feature, because then you can edit your colors after the fact. So here in my shape layer, if I kind of expand this out, you'll see that I have that rectangle right here. I'd like you to click on that and just lock the rectangle, because we're going to be working on top of this and we don't want to move that rectangle around. So now I'm going to go to the pen tool, and all I'm going to do here is just create geometric versions of the shapes that I see here. So geometric versions of these shapes would just be in these straight kind of angular shapes that I'm creating. So once I have closed that path, I'm going to hit I and then click in there to set the color, and then hit P to go back to the pen tool. And I'm just going to continue this with all of these shapes. And these shapes already are slightly geometric, So you'll see that it doesn't take much to kind of create a geometric version of these. The other thing that's pretty cool about the way that Illustrator sets things up here and uses things like the pen tool is, let me finish this and then I'll show you. If I want to now go in and select, if I want to go in and select this inner part of the flower, as I go around this path that's next to that, it will allow me to find those anchors on the path and just line up this other shape right with it as I'm creating it. So as I'm clicking through here, that creates these nice kind of tight shapes and drawings that I'm creating with the pen tool. Now, as you saw before, I already had a layer called shape, so I'm going to turn off the visibility to this layer and turn on the visibility to this one, so you can kind of see where this is going once you get farther along. So if I hit Command Y now, you can see that I have this nice geometric representation of the image that I started with. And I'm just going to keep going with that until it's all done. Now, when it's all done, you might notice, let's see here, I might have maybe, let me unlock this and make sure I'm in the right layer. There we go. Always make sure that you're clicked in the right layer. If you have the other ones locked, you'll notice you can't work unless you're in the right one. So I may have gone off the side of my document. I'm just kind of doing this on purpose over here. Or even maybe over on this side, I may find, I'm just going to kind of, just for the sake of showing you, create a little path over here, and I'll just select a different color so that we can see it in our navigator. So I might have something off the side here that I don't want. When I am all done with just this space, what I'm going to do is go to my rectangle tool, and I want to be in no fill with any color stroke. Really does not matter what the color stroke is. And I'm going to draw a box over this area. Then I'm going to go into that shape layer. I'm going to hold the Option key down and click on the thumbnail there, and that will select everything in that layer group. And then I'm going to go to Object, Clipping Mask, Make, or you can also hit Command 7. And what that should do is now I will not, oh, actually I changed that to an outline mode before, but now I won't see this little path outside of that area. I also won't see this outside of that area. So it just allows that whole area to be kind of confined to that one space. But you can't edit it now. So if you did want to go back and edit it, you'd have to go to Clipping Mask, Release. You can edit contents, but I just go ahead and release, and then I'll make another one when I'm done. So I'm actually going to do that since I'm not done with this. But if you were going through and completely done, you could go in and just cut that out. Oops, but not the entire thing. There we go. I'm going to delete that and delete this. So that is shape. Our next area is going to be color. So that's starting to come along down here. When this is all done, I'll give you a little sneak preview of what this will look like. It's going to be something like this, where we have shape, color, line, texture, and then typography. So I'm going to stop it here, but I'm going to make another video that will walk you through how to create color with the pencil tool, how to create texture with the blob brush tool, and then some styles, how to create line with the pencil tool and using our stroke menu, and then how to create a clipping mask with some text to create an interesting typography layout for your whatever painting you would like to choose for that. So please stop back to see how those are done, and thanks for watching.